The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezingly soft host. We've had the FOMC meeting out. We were up at 2791.5 earlier today. Before the announcement, we kind of started pulling back. We're now at 2782, which is off 5 on the S&P cash. And of course, what we want to be watching now is we've had fairly light volume both Friday, Monday, and yesterday. It only ticked up a little bit over Friday's and Monday's volume, so not much volume. Now we've got 3.7 billion shares on the U.S. Market volume summary from the CBOE. That's everything, including the NASDAQ and the NYSE stocks, no matter where they're traded. So we'll see how that comes in at the end of the day. But we've been up for a few days on lighter volume and a lighter push. Saw a few stocks that looked like blow off tops yesterday. Saw some stocks trying to be, it looked like the last of some attempts for some short squeezes. Options continue to show that we should close below 2750 90% of the time. So that shows we have a possible 31 points left in the S&P cash. That should close lower. So we'll look at that and some of the other stuff going on. You can always give me a call at 877-927-6641. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. And of course, you can put a message in the den. Now, in the FOMC meeting, there's a few things going on, but probably the biggest thing is that they pulled out a statement, and I'll paraphrase it. Lower for a long time is out of the statement. It seemed kind of somewhere between dovish and hawkish at first blush, and when you dig into it, they're starting to pull out some of the stuff that talked about long-term accommodation, at least easing that language. I know everybody will try to figure out how many angels can dance on the head of a pin from all this stuff. But if you were betting on only 3 hikes this year, they're saying, or in the next year, saying 4, at least in the foreseeable future. My guess is that that will probably, if we continue to see PPI numbers like we saw this morning, that will probably go to 5 sometime this summer. But yeah, what can you say? Raising rates. They've been pretty artificially low for a long time. This certainly gives them the opportunity to lower rates if we get back into some problems. Though most of them have voiced concern about an overheated stock market. So they won't be, if the thing just doesn't go higher, I think they're going to be happy. And then what you need to watch for is when those guys quit blabbing, which will be, I don't know, mid-August, 1st of September, something like that. When the elections come, they kind of have an unwritten rule. They should write it to stay out of rate hikes and everything else, unless the world's coming to an end, or rate cuts, unless the world's coming to an end before elections, because they don't want a lot of congressmen in there deciding that maybe they should be looked at just a little harder. And maybe some oversight, which they've been a way to get away with for forever. Anyway, 2781 on the S&P cash. The Dow's off 56. The Nasdaq's up 2. It's been the strongest of the bunch. Russell at 1677 is off 5. So what else do we have going on here? A little bit of this. We'll see how it goes. A lot of apologies right after the PPI numbers. The market did pull back at 8:30, and then everybody said, oh, it's just all energy. Like we don't spend money on energy or anything else. So that was kind of quickly excused. It'll all be okay. The Fed's going to be incredibly dovish, and they are not. So we'll take a look and see what happens throughout the hour. Of course, at 2:30, we're going to have a little bit of talking going on, and we'll bring that up today. But Powell will be doing his little dance on the catwalk. Doing his little dance on the catwalk at 2:30. That normally runs till about 3:15. So keep an eye on that. They're probably wanting to find out and kind of grab him like by the lapels and ask him if he's truly not dovish anymore. My guess is that he will come off kind of like the statement, and that is a little bit more hawkish than neutral, and certainly not dovish. So looking forward to your phone calls today at 877-927-6648 and your emails at path@tfnn.com. Let's get to a little history, and then we'll get to some charts.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
It is history repeating. On this day in 1966, the Supreme Court hands down its decision in Miranda versus Arizona, establishing the principle that all criminal suspects may be advised or must be advised of the rights before interrogation. Ernesto Miranda was later stabbed to death. He would have been better off in jail in the men's room of a bar after a poker game in January 1976. Probably wasn't actually even guilty. Got retried after they walked him on the Miranda decision in 66. Went back to jail, got out in 1972. He was kind of one of they call the usual suspects. They didn't have anybody. The woman that was raped couldn't identify him in a lineup. They pretty much threw him in jail anyway, just assuming that he was guilty of other things. And they did finally kick him loose in 72. But, got stabbed to death in after trying to cheat. At least the article I read suggested he was trying to cheat people in a poker game in the back of the bar. Well, no real surprise there, but what can you say? This day in 1966. So let's go and start looking at some charts. We've had a little bit of a bounce. We're now just off 2.5 points on the S&P cash. So we'll keep an eye on that. That's 2784. So we'll have to see what the rest goes. I'm just wondering how many times the people said we were only going to have 3. Now that we know we're going to have 4, or at least they're saying we're going to have 4, are now going to excuse this away. Market is rapidly bullish and euphoric, and sometimes doesn't react almost instantly to bad news, but we shall see. Okay, so we'll start taking a look at some. Oh, we're going to the break, so we won't do that. Make sure and let's listen for your emails and your phone calls. I don't hear any audio. There it is. So we're going to break.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we're back. Hang on a second. There we go. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, still off a couple points on the S&P cash. Dow's off 25, Nasdaq's up 16, Russell's off 5. So we'll see how the rest of the day works out here. But we got 12 minutes before we get more questions, and I don't know if there's anything else you can say about it other than that. You always get kind of a move up, a move down, a move up. And then about the last 30 minutes is when the action comes. Okay, so what do we want to look at? Look at the reaction initially at the TLT, excuse me, because that was probably one of the bigger moves post-announcement. Don't have a lot of volume out here, but certainly don't have a move up. 118.42 is the June 6th low. Looks to me like we're going to at least go back and test that low, 118.42 from June 6th on the TLT. So that'll give you a little window into bonds. Let's take a look at some other stuff going on out here. What do I want to look at? IWM. Someone wants to take a look at that. Got up to 167.86, kind of rolled over pre-market. It's up a little bit, but not much, still under 167. Now, one of the problems with higher interest rates, even though a raising dollar makes IWM stocks more attractive against things like Dow stocks, just because they don't export as much. But certainly a fairly decent looking dark candle against yesterday's. Not as big as you would think, but big enough. And again, it just makes it much tougher for small caps to borrow than large caps. Large caps, it doesn't bother as much. But exports bothers big caps a lot more than it does small caps. And to this point, everybody's been hiding out in the IWM, thinking that it does a lot better because you didn't have to worry about some kind of trade war going on for the most part, maybe a little bit, but not as badly as the big industrials. Anyway, a nice little pullback here. You did almost get to a higher high today. Volume so far is 12 million shares compared to the 16 million shares. So you could have a day that, depends on what the volume does, exceeds at least yesterday in volume. So we'll keep an eye out on that. We're off 5 on the S&P cash. Again, it's going to be a fast market, and it generally gets as, I'm going to have to sneeze here, but it normally gets as fast as, almost, oh, almost there. It's nothing like summertime. You just go outside and walk the dogs for a minute, or go out to the pool, come back in, and man, it's just like, it's not that cold after 30 minutes in here, but you just go outside into the oppressive heat and humidity of Florida in June, and come back in. You almost feel like you've gone to the great white north, and I tend to sneeze that way. So what else do we have? Let's take a quick look at the Qs. They got up to 177. Take a quick look and see if you hang out here. You get it looks like a kind of nice little doji out here. Last time we had a little pattern like this. Looks like the same day on the 14th of May in the Qs, at least so far. We'll see how this does the rest of the day. But you open lower, kind of pushed up to the 117.14. This was another one where everybody started kind of trying to get out of them before the FOMC announcement. I wonder if it had leaked at all. It doesn't look as bad as that, though. SMHs, same kind of thing, look like a push higher, a little short squeeze into the day. It actually was higher than that. I don't know what's going on that. See if we have anything in Facebook. This thing looked like it'd been hanging up there. To me, the options look like this wanted to pull back a little, not a whole lot, into Friday's expiration close. And, there's just not a lot of juice either way, up or down in these. Okay. Take a quick look at the OIH. And this question basically was, if the market heads lower, will people be buying crude? And they can. It just ends up, especially on Wall Street, a lot of times, a way to park your money, and you don't get that much more money. When everything's going down, if it is, even gold, they tend to sell everything. It may go up a little, and other things may go up a little bit. But when these things really start to run is when the general market quits selling off. The first thing that people go to are the things that held up the best. And that's when you start looking at things like the crude market. Anyway, you're back down here on fairly low volume today, back into the June 4th low of 26.45. You had 6.5 million shares that day. You got 3 million shares today. So if you're looking for somewhere just to hide, if we do get a nice pullback out of this today, or at least started today, you can find these. I just don't like them because you can always leave your money in your account. To me, these tend to be, if they do hold up, are much better buys once the rest of the market has hit bottom. And these things have basically gone sideways for a while. Let's take a look at SCO real quick, too. And then we'll look at the actual crude. What do we have? 33 cents. Had a good move off the bottom, kind of came back into that 65 level, and the market did bottom. A little bit of a pullback in this today. But you know what? Probably in that 1750 range, even with market pulling back, this is probably where this thing's going to go. I just wouldn't be too excited and want to get out in front of this too far. Again, if everything's selling, commodities tend to hold up better when the rest of the market bails. But it's problematic to think you're going to make a lot of money. These tend to move, even if they hold steady, they tend to move much better once the rest of the market has finally bottomed out on any kind of pullback. That's either short term or long term. Let's see. Yep. Okay. Take a quick look here. See what else is going on here. Go. Don't see anything else going. Okay. We will be back in just a second. I'll be looking for more action. As we said, these things move fairly quickly. Down 7 points on the S&P cash. Oh, tell me it's not so, Joe. Tell me it's not so. We'll be back in a minute.
The Path of Least Resistance, David White's daily market letter, gives you trade recommendations based on David's proprietary power law vector indicator that put the odds of success overwhelmingly in your favor. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price for each stock and option trade. David combines his years of trading experience along with his background in technology and computing to offer his subscribers his take on the markets on a daily basis. Every trading day by 9:30, David publishes his morning issue of the Path of Least Resistance, along with updates sent out throughout the week whenever there is new actionable trading information. All new subscribers receive a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. To sign up for David White's daily trading newsletter right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. Keep an eye on this market because I think you take an eye off of it, you could lose a leg. It's all fun until someone loses an eye. Like nothing else mattered. I always remember that. You're always going to shoot out your eye with a BB gun. You're not going to do anything else. Although I think that's happened more than a few times. Off 8 on the S&P cash. Dow's off 71. NASDAQ's off 14. Now Russell's off 6. I don't know if that's accurate. I think maybe lagging. Let's take a look at some other stuff out here. Okay. Uh, looks like people were just waiting for permission to take a look at it. Let's take a look at NVIDIA here for Joe in Orlando. We got a little doji out here. This again is the strongest semi that there is. They're a virtual monopoly in machine learning. The downside, even today, is more discussions about Intel coming after them, but it looks like Intel will be into 2020 before they have a massive operation to go after Intel's business. I'll talk more about that probably with Tom O'Brien on Friday's Tech Insider. But pretty nice little dojis. It's gone sideways out here. Pretty good indication of distribution up at these highs. If we continue lower, that would be the confirmation. But again, so it comes back to 2040. There are a lot of stocks out here that are much, much weaker. I mean, we've got confirmation in the sector outside of the sector with phones that phone business is slowing down. We've heard it from Avago. We've heard it from a lot of others, including Best Buy. Everybody says that the phone business is getting pretty low, pretty weak. My guess would be, if you're really looking at going after these, Apple is kind of artificially held up this market surrounding the cell phone business. To me, these are the weaker parts of it. And NVIDIA probably by itself won't keep up the semis, but it still would be probably one of the stronger ones. There are a lot of weaker sisters out there in the market. So we'll keep it's very quiet out there because everybody's waiting and on every breath that comes out of the FOMC chairman's mouth. And again, this just started, a minute or two ago. You tend to get a little ups and downs in this, and then everybody starts digesting it and normally these things run to 3:15. We got about another 45 minutes of this. Anyway, they'll digest it for a while, and then they start figuring out what's going on. This is a euphoric market, so we could split either way very hard. My guess is that we are probably up a lot or down a lot from this price right here by the end of the day. I don't think a lot of people are going to come away sanguine on the market. They're either going to have a view that, this is going to be a problem, or maybe not the problem that we thought it was going to be. So let's take a look at some other ones out here. Question to look at Akamai, A-K-A-M. Okay. Okay. Well, I don't think you have a clear signal other than the fact this one has very light volume. 1.2 million shares today compared to 3 million shares yesterday. So we're going to have light volume. The question is whether or not these things hold up or we start getting selling volume into the close. I don't see a whole lot on that one. Let's go back and look a little bit farther back. The big problem I see on this one is that it really went over the March 9th high that had 3.75 million shares with 3 million shares yesterday. So it broke above the previous high, didn't have the energy. Today, it's got even less energy to 81.38. Now, I have seen a lot of these stocks that look like this. I've been out looking for puts on them, and the put prices for July puts are fairly fantastic. So a lot of these, if I can't find something that's a real cheap in a put, I may be actually having to short the actual equity itself. But, when you have puts that are that expensive, it's almost a de facto notice that one, either everybody's far too bearish on the stock. And on this one, they could be. But a lot of times it's just a notification that, the stock's at least coming back somewhat, if not all the way. So we'll keep an eye on that. Question about, we got NVIDIA. Quick question on Apple. Again, Apple's options have shown huge downside this whole week, but of course they didn't really go that much lower. You had a little gap down when we did find out that Avago confirmed everything we knew about 20% lower shipments to Apple. Didn't really do much, kind of getting a little bit of a pullback here, not a lot of volume, but you're up against William Buffett, and all he has to do is call up Apple headquarters and say, hey, please buy a few shares. Let's support this stock. Let's just not let it going down. You've got the biggest stock manipulator in the world, and you have the biggest options market maker in the world in the same company. And that's always problematic. You can have a lot of weird movements in Apple that don't seem to make sense. Can it come down? The answer is yes. What will happen? My guess is that we'll probably see Mr. Buffett writing puts and calls on this thing and hoping it just goes sideways, and he'll collect a lot of money along with probably collecting a lot of dividends along the way, and some other stuff too. It's pretty quiet here. Everybody watching the stock market, I would imagine, with bated breath. 2781, we're off 5.5 points on the S&P cash. NASDAQ's taken, it looks like about 20-point swings up and down. What else do we have going out here? Question about SNAP. S-N-A-P. Keep those cards and letters coming. I am keeping an eye on them. Okay. As we talked about it yesterday, man, if you didn't do it yesterday, I'm not a fan of shorting $14 stocks, but this one's made every indication that it's run into a brick wall from this gap down on the 2nd of May. That came down with 159 million shares. You've got 38 million shares up, 39 million shares up yesterday. You got 24 million shares up so far. So are you going to instantly see this thing probably pull back? You probably aren't. But I'm figuring that if you wanted to be in this one, you really want to get the retrace, and that retrace is going to be about a 50%er. That's going to take you back down to about $12.25 maybe. And if you get down there very light volume and people keep piling on in the short department, that looks like that could be an ABC on the way up. We'll be back after this short timeout.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks! Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Yeah, I don't know. If you read the document, he says that Powell says that he's worried about inflation, but he's now saying inflation is low. So I don't know why he's worried about it if it's low. So is it low or is he worried about it? Yeah. These guys have mastered the art of doublespeak out here. Okay, so what else do we have going on out here? Going to take a look at some other charts. Let's get back up here. Let's take a look at some of them. I wanted to see how Boeing is doing. Didn't seem, I mean, we basically kind of made a high out here. This is not the stock I would probably want to be hugely short. It is pulling back today, though, and volume is going to probably exceed at least the last 2, if not 3 days as this made a high. We were talking about this one testing the 369.89 high of February 28th. It had 5.5 million shares on 4.4 million shares on June 7th. It's kind of pulled back today a little bit more. My guess is that this is, even if we didn't have the Fed, this thing was probably going to come back down to around 352-ish. And, of course, talk about needing cash. This is a company that makes a lot of stuff that's very expensive. And they got to leave that cash out there for a while. So it always is not the best thing for them. I certainly haven't liked this move up from a third. The energy was off by about 20% off this February 28th high down to the March 28th high. So you have a nice W formation. You're kind of starting to pull back today. The volume in this is probably going to be very important if it can hold that up. Questions about the IBB. This one just doesn't seem to have a lot of range. You went over the previous high of April 18th that had 2 million shares, and you really, you kind of got close to it. You had one day that went sideways, 2.6 million shares, but yesterday 1.3 million shares, today 1.3 million shares with a little higher spike. So again, potentially we'll have to see how the rest of the day comes out, but that would be it. We talked about Bed Bath and Below, how I love to see these things fill about half the gap and then come back in. And, we've had that gap out here for a little bit. But you're going into 38.5 million shares with 6 million shares yesterday, 6.6 million shares. So it's going to be very tough, and especially since we know the business really hasn't changed in that. Let's see what else we have out here. Court Furniture Rentals. No, this is something else. I thought this was Court. Another one that's coming into its gap down is Corcept Therapeutics, CORT. This huge gap down of 7.5 million shares. Got into it with 1 million shares on May 30th, pushing back up into it with 600,000 shares. I'm just saying a lot of stocks have been hitting fairly decent resistance levels, and that's going to be about it. Yeah, we've got Mr. Powell doing his dance on the catwalk. Dance on the catwalk. What is it? Said Fred? Who remembers that? What's that group? They were one hit wonder. Something Said Fred? Right Said Fred. I knew it kind of was that, but it was out there. Okay, let's take a look at some other stuff out here. I wanted to let's take a look at Haynes. Haven't looked at this one for a little while. This one had come down, trying to bust through this little pop back up off at $25.41. The Haynes Celestial Group. 28.49 was the May 11th automatic rally. We came back into it. That was 1.33 million shares. You got into it with 1.9 million shares 2 days ago. Yesterday, 1 million shares. Today, a little higher. Looks like you may get out 1.25 million shares. But this thing's going to have to consolidate for a while. It's come off almost straight down off this $44.37 high. And this is not any kind of high-tech stock. Mr. Hormel kind of taking a beating. Yeah, I guess, what, is it metal shavings or plastic shavings in their spam? Didn't know which one it was. It didn't seem to bother it as badly as you thought at the beginning. I mean, for the price, could have been a lot worse. I think everybody's just getting used to little extra shavings of some kind, maybe some beetle legs, insect larvae. Aren't we ready for it all? Iron Mountain. This thing is taking a beating. It's come back off of it. Now it's had a little bit of juice back up, but running into some fairly stiff resistance. This April 18th high at 34.77. Symbol is IRM, by the way. 1.16 million shares. Got into it with more volume. 1.9 million shares yesterday, but it's back into the trading range today. This doesn't look as bad as some of these other ones, and maybe back down around 31.87, this May 18th low. This thing may start to consolidate out here. And of course, these guys, if I'm not mistaken, are all about backups in mines and coal and copper mines and caves and everything else. Just make sure about that. Storage and information management services trusted by more than 225,000 organizations. And they're known for buying an old iron mine, and that's why they're called Iron Mountain. And they actually go in and spray caves with copper and iron artifacts in concrete onto the walls to make sure that they're not going to get hit by EMP forces. If Rocket Man decides to launch an EMP at us or somebody else, theoretically, all your digital data would be okay hidden in their big cave. They're kind of like a bank for data. And you can send data to it either over the wire. But one of the biggest business right now that people don't think about is huge, is actually putting hard drives in planes at night and shipping them in nice zero Halliburton briefcases to these locations for backup. Even Google and a lot of the other companies will just put in hard drives in briefcases and ship them across the nation from New York to LA overnight and back the same way, because it would take them 10 hours to send the data, and it's only a 4-hour plane flight and actually cheaper. So that's it. Store your Bitcoin wallet in Iron Mountain. Well, that would be interesting. It would be. Okay, we're at 2781, which we're off about 6 points on the S&P cash. So we'll keep an eye on that. Anything else going on out here? Wanted to take a look. Okay, 119 on the TLT. See if that does anything. This thing has always looked to me like it wants to at least retest this the high 115s or 116s. This is starting to look a little bit more cloudy. Probably take into tomorrow, I suspect. Everybody's going to have to digest this. I don't think this FOMC meeting is coming off as clear as Chairman Powell would have liked to. Been a little bit more of a Ouija board going on. We'll be back in a minute.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Well, we're fighting this out, and again, it's not going to be quick. Not much to move the market. Tomorrow morning, Fred's, that's not going to move it. Michael's company's not going to move it. The only thing we're going to see, I think, at all are a couple of tech stocks after the bell tomorrow night. That's Adobe and Jabil. You got Finistar too. So you got a handful of tech companies, but Adobe, could come in with a real winner or a stinker. Kind of tough to say. I just don't see that right now that either of those three are enough by itself to really blow anything away. Got a request to take a quick look at Microsoft. Certainly looks like the options are forming up for this to close right at 100. We're down a little bit today. Yeah, that's only $1 lower over the next couple of days. Still a pretty strong stock take a quick look at Intel and how it's reacting. Yeah, a little doji out here. This one looked like they were circling the wagons at 55. Take a quick look at MU. This one looked like the weakest of the bunch out here. And of course, it did come off a test of a previous high on half the volume. That has to kind of have you at least very careful about what you're doing in the semis. Again, I probably wouldn't be short MU. It's one of the stronger ones. Did have a fairly decent low volume retest April 30th. You had decent volume on the way up. What you didn't have was any kind of juice back up into this March 31st high. Pulled back down to the gaps that were out here from the 21st of May and the 22nd of May. That's acted as support. I suspect this could come back down to 56-ish. But right now, probably be a lot of people trying to hold stocks where they're at for expiration on Friday. We'll see if they've got the goods. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.